Right, Manchester United just released a statement. Bloody hell. Jim has gone and dropped himself right in it. I mean, you can't say, you can't really say it's a surprise. A lot of us are not surprised about this, because if you follow Jim, right, Manchester United just released a statement. If you follow Jim, you just know this is not the first time he's said stuff, he's done stuff, and to upset people. But I guess that's what you do when you feel like you've earned your spot, where nobody else can challenge you, where nobody else can dispute anything you've got to say, or you don't give a, because you've made so much now, you don't give a toss about what people might think of you. And you're forgetting that the same people that you might be offending or talking about could be the same people that, you know, that have been there for you throughout, from the beginning to the end. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy. When I watched the actual clip itself, I've not seen um, the full interview. I don't even have time for the full interview now because after that, who's gonna want to watch that? You know, the club just released a statement. Jim apologized about a couple of hours ago. But before we go into that, let's listen to what Jim Ratcliffe said about immigrants colonizing Britain, the UK, England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland. I know, but I'm just adding stuff into it now. But um, it's actually scary because when you think about it, Jim is from Manchester. He's a local lad from Fieldsworth or something like that, and he supports United. And Jim's mentality is carried by so many local lads. I can tell you, it's echoed by a lot of the local people. Um, because we have a history at that club of being. This is facts, by the way. We have a history of people looking down on some fans. Certain section of the fan base will look at certain section of the other side of the fan base and just, you know, casually be offensive or be hateful towards the other section of the fan base. We have a history of that at Manchester United. Um, there was a point where I think if they release the figures again, if not release them for a while, the most racist football fan base, right? That was that got arrested in the league, in the Premier League, was Manchester United fan base. We got the most arrest for the most racist fan base. So what Jim Ratcliffe is saying there is echoed by a lot of match going fans, whether you're away or at home. And if you've been to the match, you hear some of the stuff people say around you without realizing that somebody's sitting next to you. And when they click, they go, "Oh shit, I didn't mean that." All that subtle racism and xenophobia, homophobic, Islamophobic is there at Old Trafford. It's there. So whether you like it or not, Jamie's saying what a lot of the fans, the local lads, will say. And I've seen a lot of people agreeing with him. I've also seen millions disagreeing with him all over the world. Because if you think about it, Manchester United is the biggest club in England. and outside of England. And why is that? Why is it called a global brand? It's because of the fan base that is got abroad and that travels, you know, the length of the world, the length of the earth to come and watch United play at Old Trafford. They've spent so much money, and some people will never be able to see, will never have the opportunity to see them play at Old Trafford. But Jim, he's got a habit of doing these things. Just when, just when we thought we have, we've had an absolute amazing 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so since Michael Carrick took over. I was like, damn, we're back, way back. But then in the back of my mind, I was thinking somebody's gonna say some stupid shit like they did when Amorim started winning. Jesse Wilcox came out, did an interview like strolling down Carrington, talking to whoever it was. I don't know if he was Greaves or Ferdinand, talking all the bullshit. Then Jim Ratcliffe came out, talk about, oh, he's got 3 years on his contract. We're gonna give him 3 years. Um, all that nonsense, and he's just gonna done everything Michael Carrick has just managed to do in the last 4 weeks. He's managed to prop the team together, the fan base together, where we're literally supporting the players rather than criticizing them. All right. Okay, we do throw a lot of a bit of shade in there every now and then because if you're not playing well, we're gonna tell you you're not playing well. But what he's done there, I can't even tell you. Like you'll be walking into Old Trafford if you're somebody like me, and you must be thinking people around you, you're looking at you go, fucking immigrant, what the fuck you doing here? You know what I mean? Like Jim has done. That's what Jim has done, right? And that's not gonna make people stop going to Old Trafford because people were supporting United before Jim. Jim wasn't even so. At some point, he stopped supporting United. He had a season ticket at Chelsea, you know, and he just threw himself back because he thought he could make some money off United. And he talks about immigrants taking over the country or bleeding the country dry. This is the same guy that received 120 million pounds from taxpayers, right? He received 120 million pounds whilst he escaped to Monaco with 17 billion because he refused to pay 4 billion. He doesn't even live in the UK. He doesn't live in England. He lives in Monaco where 75% of the population are all immigrant. And he's one of them. So he would rather give his wealth away to Monaco than pay in the UK to support the same country he's talking about. It's been colonized. I mean, anyway, before I go into that, let me see if I can find the clip and see if we can play it. But come on, brother Jim, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. You know, the stuff you've been saying, somebody needs to check you. But let's see if we can find out the video now. Like, but then you've got people like Simon Jordan. Um, he dropped his foot right into it, Simon Jordan. But it's always that thing about him, Simon. When you look at him, it's always been that's been with him. Like Simon is one of them where you don't know what's gonna come off his mouth, but you know he meant every single word. And that's what I saw, or I saw today when I was watching the show this morning. And they've switched up the comment on Talksport. They switched it off. Literally, Simon said, telling the rest of the world that he's a reform voter, or making up stories, making up numbers, making up bullshit, making up laws. He could even say Sharia law. He couldn't even say the word properly, but he thinks he knows about Sharia law, or he thinks people wants to implement Sharia law in and around the UK as a legal, court. I don't know where they're getting this information from. smart, right? Or they might be getting it from a taxi driver, like they always said. Taxi driver told me this is gonna happen, which is what Nigel Farage just been pushing. But like I said, no further ado, I found the video. Let's see what people say. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, as you heard that what he just said, um, the he wanted to talk about it, right? The journalist did not ask him about immigration or anything. Jim suggested he wanted to talk about immigration. He wanted to talk about immigrants. Yeah, it was a business. They were there to talk about his business, but then he switched it up. It went in the other way. He went left or right, whichever you want to call it. He chose to talk about, to alter the words of the statement that he made. He chose to do that. Nobody forced him to do it. So Jim knew exactly what he was doing. I believe, to me, personally, I think he was taking a political stand. Whatever's happening behind closed doors between him and the Labour Party or the mayor of Manchester and the Burnham, you know, when he first came about, you remember when he came about, they suggested about, they were talking about building a new stadium, and he was pushing for the government to fund some of it. I think he was asking for about a billion or even half a billion from Greater Manchester taxpayers or even the government, because he said London has got this, these people has got that. Why can't Manchester have the same thing? I think it's been rejected behind closed doors, and the government has said we're not going to fund your project to build that stadium when you have how many billionaires that own Manchester United? About four, 4 billionaires own Manchester United, and none of them could afford to build that stadium on their own or altogether. So I think Starmer and Andy Burnham has told him that, mate, fuck off. We're not gonna fund your project at Manchester United. We're not gonna do that. If we're gonna build a stadium, we have to own the stadium the same way City are paying rent at the Etihad. So City don't own that stadium. That stadium is a council estate. You know, they are paying rent to Manchester City Council. So if you want us to put money into that project, we have to own the stadium. I think that's the fallout between Jim Ratcliffe and the people at the top, and that made him switch the language to what people might say, or which is a fact really. If you go against me, I'm gonna go to reform. And at the minute, reform the popular to a certain section of people, and I don't think it's majority of the UK, and I don't think they'll win the election either. Reform are not gonna win the election. Farage will not be the prime minister. Let's make that clear. Because even I was thinking about voting Green or Labour, or should I stay Labour, or should I vote Green? Right? I've not made a decision yet, but Farage is not gonna win the election. So but he's held meetings straight away after our conversation where Andy Burnham came out and said, no, we're not gonna give you that money to build a stadium. And he came out, did the other interview when he spoke about Amorim giving him 3 years, and he mentioned the fact that he's had a meeting with Nigel Farage. Hello, duh. That should have been the first red flag to this fan base, right? But because some of the fan base echoing whatever Jim Ratcliffe is saying, they can relate to some of the stuff he's saying because they've been brainwashed to believe these things would happen to them. Um, let's be honest, people are on benefit because they've not got jobs. Some people are genuinely on benefit because they've not got jobs, they're not working or anything like that, right? And some people are on it because they genuinely sick, they need it, they can't work, they can't go to work. And who is responsible for the job losses? I'm not going to blame Keir Starmer for this. I'm not going to blame, the Manchester City Council for this. I'm blaming the direct influence to job losses, especially in certain industries, is based off. It's come from fucking Brexit, and Jim voted for Brexit. Jim was a strong campaigner for Brexit. Jim Ratcliffe. He wanted to leave the EU, and after we left the EU, the the fucking asshole took his business from the UK. He made people jobless and went and took his business to Europe. The same place you wanted to live, you wanted the country not to be part of. Jim left the UK and took his businesses to Europe, and he made the people that were working for him in the UK jobless, and some of those people are still on benefit. So how is Jim Ratcliffe complaining about shit that they created? And just this year, or ending of last year, certain big corporations have already left the UK and they're still living. And I know this because I've been part of some of those industries where the businesses have decided to go abroad. So at this point, if anyone wants to have a job, you might want to go to a place like India, South Africa, Egypt, the Philippines, Malaysia, because that's where all the jobs are going at the minute. And if you don't know this, you need to go do your research. I've got evidence, I've got proof, I've got everything. I've got videos and pictures of where we've been in an office full of about 500 people and they came in and go, oh, guys, sorry, we're moving to South Africa. I'm not going to name the businesses, but that's happened. I've been in a business where you have 2,000 people that go, guys, we're moving abroad. Guys, so what are the people supposed to do? If the same corporations, Jim Ratcliffe, the head of, they're taking their businesses abroad. And then he turns out to blame people that seek help because they've not got jobs. And these are people that have paid taxes. They've paid towards the system. Yes, I know some people don't want to work. I know some people don't want to do any job for shit. I know that for certain. But even at that, that's not the majority of people Jim Ratcliffe is talking about. And he makes up numbers. He made up all the numbers, the figures he was giving in that interview, talking about the population was 58 million, you know, in whatsoever, when it was a clear lie. He lied about that. So that's the same language Reform use or Nigel Farage will use or Tommy Robinson will use to influence people. You know, that's the same language they will use. And it's kind of bizarre that somebody like him will come out in support of that. Because when he came to United, he himself got about 500 jobs. Where the fuck do you think those people are gonna go then? He got rid of people at United. He made them redundant, about 500-600 people. So where does Jim Ratcliffe think people should go for support? These are people that have paid towards the system as well. Whilst he received 120 million for free. He doesn't have to pay back. 120 million pounds. Jim Ratcliffe doesn't have to pay back. And some people even receive an extra 70 million. So add that all together, 190 million Jim Ratcliffe has robbed the system that some of us paid towards, or some of our parents paid towards. And you're trying to tell me the UK has been colonized by immigrants? Oh, brother, I don't. The language is just so bad. It's like when we talk about colonization, brother, you don't wanna envy people that were colonized. You don't wanna envy them because if you look around the world, Britain, the UK colonized half of the world, right? They rule half of the world. The UK rule half of the world. So you don't want to envy people that are colonized. You don't want to be fantasizing about colonization. Like, do you know what it entails to be colonized? What people have to go through? You know, um, people getting shot, people getting you know abused, people getting thrown off ships, slave ships, into the Atlantic Ocean. People get put in chains. People getting lynched. You know, that's what colonization does to people. People get put in cages. They use them as exhibitions. So you can't tell me the UK, from your point of view, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people coming in from countries where, by the way, the UK has attacked before in the past. created the immigration. Hello, sorry. Yeah, I hear you. Are you playing?
Yeah.
Okay. You play with Aris?
Yeah.
All right. Right. You know what I mean? Like, literally, my daughter just came in. Sorry. She's actually wearing a Manchester United shirt. She just came in from upstairs. But Jim, I think he's apologized. Somebody said he's apologized this afternoon. Um, I'm not gonna say fair play to him because Jim is gonna do it again. He's gonna do it again. It's only apologize, and that apology is absolutely it doesn't even make sense. I apologize if you're offended by my words. I apologize if you're offended, not because I said what I said, because you're offended about what I said.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So
Here.
thank you. But anyway, let's hear what some of the people had to say. Some of the reaction from some radioheads and podcasters. But the most interesting one is Simon Jordan. I actually had to unfollow him and just it doesn't even make sense what he was saying. Even Jim White was trying to help Simon Jordan on that video. When you watch it, they had to switch up the comment section because everyone was having a go at Simon Jordan or calling him out. And I think it's about time, especially just after a day. You know, he's come. He went after any Luco and disprove everything that she said. She claimed that happened to her, and it came out to back Sir Jim Ratcliffe. That was bizarre from Simon Jordan, but I'm not surprised anyway. He said the guy is capable of doing things like that. But this is James O'Brien from LBC. He talks a bit of common sense. Okay.
Where's you go?
What? I think you've put it there. Be right back. Yeah. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. if just to allude to what James O'Brien was saying there, it's kind of have a point, doesn't it? The other thing is people say to you, but he's entitled to his opinion. It's fine to have an opinion on immigration, but as long as it doesn't impact your club, Manchester United, you're happy with it. So he can have his opinion. If he doesn't own Manchester United, he can have whatever ludicrous or whatever it is, awful or disgusting opinion he can have. That is fine, but as long as he's not owner of your football club, he's entitled to that opinion. And that's the other bullshit people keep saying. He's entitled to an opinion, and but it doesn't even make sense, brother. Anyway, absolute bullshit. One 100%. That's the part I couldn't get my head around. The, a man that voted for Brexit is complaining about immigration, right? Just because the government he supported couldn't stop immigration, or just because he didn't like the fact that the people that were coming in, he thought the people that were coming in. This is not just Jim. This is everyone that voted for Brexit, by the way. They thought they were voting to stop black and brown people. That's a fact. That's what Brexit meant to some of these people, right? If you're black or brown, you can't come in, you can't do this, you can't go there. You're not entitled to anything at all. And that's what they thought they were voting for. But then to find out the biggest part of immigration was coming from within Europe, European countries. And then we had the Ukraine war, where they got invaded by Russia. And we've got what the other part of the world in the Middle East, something, whatever is going on there. So you see how they welcome the people from Ukraine, which is, you know, which is fine because I was once a refugee myself. You know, I've moved countries from countries to countries at a fucking early age, at a young age, um, went missing, and then found my way back. Um, but those wars that I was a refugee of was sponsored and started by Britain. Britain literally released someone from prison, got them to lead a country into a war where we have to kill each other. So, Jim, you don't have a leg to stand on. And when you voted for Brexit, you thought uh, you were voting to stop black and brown people coming from Southeast Asia, Africa, the Caribbean. What you didn't know that majority of the immigrant in the UK is actually from the EU, which you had to deal with, which you were part of, and young people from here could travel, could study, could work abroad without having to worry about visas and anything else. But then, as soon as we got out of the EU, Jim took his business to the EU. He took he went and built factories in some European country. So the hypocrisy of Jim Ratcliffe, man, the guy's such a big hypocrite, such an asshole. It's just a shame he bought Manchester United, man. It's a shame. But he did say the only way you can leave Manchester United if he gets more abused than the Glazers. If you receive more abuse than the Glazers, or even closer to what the Glazers um, have received. So there's the invitation, Jim. I don't think you're gonna like it because that's where you're gonna be getting every single match, away or home. Um, because you caused this problem. The journalists, they want to ask you about politics. You brought politics into the conversation, and we have some people like Simon Jordan making excuses for the idiot, the absolute idiot, making excuses for him. He wasn't asked a question. If you listen to Simon Jordan, you claim, oh well, he was asked a question. Nobody asked him. He wanted to talk about it. He wanted to talk about politics because his butt hurt, because his ego has been diminished by Keir Starmer and the Burnham by telling him that we're not building Manchester United for you, the new stadium. We're not giving you 1 billion. We're not giving you half a billion. If we're gonna build a stadium, the UK government will own it, or the Manchester City Council will own the stadium, or Trafford Council will own the stadium, and then you have to rent it from us. And Jim don't like that. So he decided to go to Nigel Farage. He held a meeting with Nigel Farage, and now he came out with all this bullshit. Fuck his apology, by the way. Mm-hmm. 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 I still be a dickhead. Fact, you can still be a dickhead with all that money. Mm, that's a crime. Absolutely. I mean, in fact, what I think with that is absolutely right. I think some of the biggest racists are the billionaires and the millionaires. Hi, I play football.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of the biggest racists in the world you find are the rich people, the people in suit. And then what they would try and do is like what Jim Ratcliffe is doing now, right? You're trying to set us or set certain people, apart. So you haven't got each other. The distraction is there. So the focus is away from them. You don't focus on what's going on with the Epstein files. You don't focus on what's going on in the government. You don't focus on what Nigel Farage is trying to do, selling the country to millionaires and billionaires, right? That's what Jamie's doing, and Jamie's trying to talk himself into a place where he might not be able to come out at some point, you know, and he'll just stay in Monaco anyway. He doesn't need to come to the UK. He can run the club from afar. He can run the club from Monaco or wherever he wants to, or hire people to run it. James O'Brien is one of the people that barely talk sense, a lot of common sense. Like I said, I'll play the one with Simon Jordan for you. Hopefully, they've not deleted that video because I reckon that video has got probably will have so much view now.
Daddy,
Yeah,
where's the ball?
it's a raincoat.
Huh?
It's a raincoat.
Huh?
Sorry, that video will have so the views on that video will go. So they'll make so much money from that video anyway. But I hope they've not deleted it. I'll try and find it and play that. But James O'Brien, fair play to the guy. Call him out, and the Burnham called him out. Guest time I told him to apologize. A lot of people, the Green Party, every politician go, apart from Nigel Farage, and go, oh well, yeah, he's right. Oh, everybody. I don't even want to give them the hair time to talk about reform. I don't want to talk to reform voters or even on X, my X account, they'll reply, but I'll never reply back to a reform voter. Who gives a fuck about them? Um,
Daddy.
but anyway,
Okay. What's this? Yeah. What's this? No, it's not good.
thank you.
No.
No,
No, it's cup of tea.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I've got it.
No.
I've got it.
She's got it.
Mm,
Are we?
I've got it.
Me.
No,
Let's go. Tea.
take that.
Huh?
Take it. Take it upstairs.
No. 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 Here. Here. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Here. 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 Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Oh, it's ball.
No, no, no.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, wait. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. Play food. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. The
can tell you now, James O'Brien is the only guy I'll say this guy's been consistent throughout ever since I started listening to his show or whenever it's on online. It's been consistent throughout. I'm not saying this because he's taking sides, you know. I'm saying it because he's on the right side of history, man. You know, whatever he says, but you can't have people like that in this world because you can't just have evil everywhere. And people like Simon Jordan, whatever is going on, he has struggled to accept the fact that people like Jim Ratcliffe. I think that there were times when he was against Jim Ratcliffe. He had to go at Jim Ratcliffe because of money, claiming he didn't care that Jim Ratcliffe is making that much money or Manchester United were making that much money, so he doesn't care about that. Which to me, to go from there and to back his comment, trying to use the free speech, the free speech trope or whatever you want to call it, to justify his comment. He's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to this. Yes, we're all entitled to opinions, but also opinions comes with consequences, right? But listen to what Simon Jordan had to say. I kid you not, Jim Ratcliffe, Jim White tried to help Simon Jordan, like literally. You can tell he's about to tell him to Simon, shut up, listen to the language, look at the definition of colonization, what it means, what it's done. The you know Jordan did. I mean, you can tell by the end of the show, he sat there with the face on him like a slapped ass. Um, like I reckon they will have a conversation with Jim White after that show today because Simon sat there with the face on him. You need to go watch it, by the way, if you've not seen it. I'm talking Talksport. They had to switch up the comment because the comments were so much coming for Simon. They're coming for Simon's head. And I won't be surprised tomorrow if they pull up another show with Simon saying sorry or trying to justify himself. The nonsense is he already the chaos is already caused because obviously that's why he's done it. You know, he thrives on chaos, Simon Jordan. He thrives on chaos. But this is what he's got to say with Jim White. listen to this prick. Clumsy. That's how you describe it. Clumsy. I mean, for to him, it doesn't matter if he gets the numbers wrong, as long as whatever Jim Ratcliffe is saying fits his narrative, fits his politics, right? But this is what I was saying to you before. A couple of months ago, Simon Jordan was bashing Jim Ratcliffe, right? Called him all type of names. The videos are still up. In fact, what they've done, they cut a clip of it today and did a shot of how he bashed Jim Ratcliffe. They're trying to make it like a 50-50. He's a fair guy kind of guy, you know. But what they've done is jumped on the wrong side of whatever Jim was on. And but to him, it doesn't matter if the numbers were wrong, he got his numbers wrong, but as long as the message suits or fits his politics, his political views, and that's what they're doing. And I don't know what the government has done to these billionaires or these rich people. Either the government say you're not claiming any more funds, you're not getting any more aid, special aid from us, from the taxpayers. Then they decide to turn on the government. Now they're all coming out saying, "Oh, even a guy from Dragon's Den trying some bullshit," you know. Um, so either that or their names are on the Epstein files. Listen to Jordan again. See, Jim tried to check him there, right? Because again, Simon is the same guy that's telling me about keep politics out of football, you know, keep politics out of sport, and he managed to sneak in Maccabi Haifa Tel Aviv into that conversation where he wasn't needed because he was trying to have a go at whoever the police inspector who did his job correctly, by the way. Um, they managed to get him to resign. But that's another story. But Simon is the type of guy. As long as I think Simon has taken a paycheck somewhere, he's compromised, and he always used to say, because I've watched Simon, we've all seen him keep politics out of football. But all of a sudden, he's against the fact that a group of fan base who are hooligans, majority of them, who committed crimes around Europe, wherever they go, they attack other fan base, other fan groups. And the UK said, no, you can't come in because we don't have enough police to police you guys. And to keep it safe, the area where you're going to go is full of people who you don't get along with, which might ended up somebody getting hurt. And thank God we didn't get to see that. But anyway, Simon, keep politics out of football, but listen to the way he's bringing football into politics or politics into football. Jim will not let him finish that point because Jim knows Simon, stop, stop, don't go into that point, right? But he's still gonna go in. Jim was trying to save him so hard, but he's still gonna go in. What's up? Welcome to the chat. Hello. Welcome to the chat. Wow. Gary Neville was right, by the way. It's political. Simon is either taking, you know, a check. He's taking money from someone. Do I support Liverpool? Hell no, I don't support Liverpool. Astaghfirullah. Um, no, I don't support Liverpool. No, no. Um, I support the club. You can see it there in the background. Um, but Simon has switched from. It's completely switched, right? He's he's talking about Keir Starmer when it's Jim Ratcliffe that's committed a crime, right? Defection. It's defecting everything. Um, but it's strange. I couldn't believe what I was watching here with Simon. And but just watch how it's changed. His tone has changed. His color has changed. It's gone from, I don't know what color is Simon, because he does. He looks like he wears fake tan. Um, but it's gone red, super red. Look at the face he's giving Jim White. Bizarre interview. That's not what. That's not what he said. He didn't talk about legal or illegal, or he didn't talk about. He said immigrant in general, right? That's what Simon is. Oh, yeah.
No.
I can't see it. Well, shout out to Kyrgyzstan. 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 Is that how he said it? Am I right? Who is better? Ronaldo. Ronaldo is better. I mean, I'm a fan of Ronaldo. Um, absolute shit comment from the owner. I can't tell you. Simon Jordan looks absolutely pissed off because he got challenged there a little bit. He got a bit of pushback from Jim White, and he looks so angry there. Well, you ask a question now: is better, Messi or Ronaldo? They're two different players, but they're two great players. Um, I love, I love Ronaldo. But I also enjoy watching. I've also enjoyed. I've also enjoyed watching Messi play football, because we all love good football. So as long as the football is good, I love both of them. But Ronaldo, I'm a fan of Ronaldo more than I'm a fan of Messi. That if that clears it up for you. Uh, all right, thank you. Good night. Thank you for staying by. Thank you. What's the timing in Kyrgyzstan? What's the time? Thank you for thank you for watching.
Huh?
Have a good night.
Daddy, this is tea. Yeah. Daddy, really quick. Daddy, I didn't buy.
Listen to this guy, right? Just listen to what this guy's saying. This guy talks so much sense. Listen to him, and he got Simon so angry. Look at Simon's face, bro. Simon looks pink. He looks red. He looks whatever color. The fake tan looks like he's dripping, or whatever the sunbed is being on. Look at that. Yeah, 100%. See, he's not trying to lecture you, Simon. What he's trying to do is trying to put the fact out there what colonization is for the people that are too lazy to go look at the dictionary. But you don't want the guy to sound to put the fact out there. So you're trying to interrupt him and stop him from talking. By the way, this video has got nearly a million views, but they switched up the comment section, so you can't really reply to this video of Simon and reacting to what Jim Ratcliffe said. So yeah, he's trying to stop the guy from putting the actual definition of what colonization is, and because Simon doesn't want you to know the facts. People like Simon and Jim Ratcliffe and Nigel Farage don't want you to know the facts. He said it's a clumsy word. He didn't say he didn't agree with the word. He didn't say he said he reduced the word to clumsiness. And what is what This what it actually is done to the actual colonization, the people that were colonized, is it diminishes the fact that these people went through certain things in their lives that could never happen in the UK or Britain to anyone, whether you white, black, Asian, brown, whatever. No one will ever go through what colonization did to people 4, 5, 600 years ago around the world. That will never happen in the UK. So there's nothing like colonization in the UK. Don't ever dream about it. Go back and look at the dictionary and educate yourself and tell Jim Ratcliffe to shut the fuck up, because that's not. It's just what he's trying to do. It's hyped up a certain group of people that goes out there and go, oh, like, okay, now you can't even come to football match because the people start looking at you like, what are you doing at Old Trafford? Are you one of them? Right? Fuck the guy. And fuck Simon too. Apart from himself. This guy David is absolutely spot on. Like, he probably lives just next door to me. I don't know. He said he lives 5 minutes away from the ground, right? It's absolutely spot on. Like, when you walk around Manchester, all you see is people getting along with each other. But then secretly, you don't know who you're standing next to because of stuff like what Jim Ratcliffe is saying. And it's a strange one. Like, I go to the Manchester City football games and stuff like that and watch them play. As a United fan, I don't mind going in there and sit there and watch football because I love football. Right? I'm sure I've got City fans who come to United because it's a really good game today somewhere, and they'll watch the game and just go home, right? Or they'll follow their own family members just to go watch it because it's a day out at the end of the day. There is rivalry, and there is also, you know, coexisting. So people coexist in Manchester like side by side without any issues, majority of people. But people like Jim Ratcliffe just want to turn everything and blame everybody else apart from themselves. He sacked 500 people, by the way, when he took over the club. He made 500 people redundant, and he's complaining about people being on benefit. Make that make sense? Ian sound like a ass leaker already. Sorry about the word, but he literally sound like a bootlicker. He literally sound like he goes out there put up flags. One thing I wouldn't go and do if I want to make a point, I'm not gonna go, well, I'm from an immigrant background. It's like saying I've got a black friend when we know you don't have a black friend or Asian friend or white friend. It's like saying all those things. Oh well, just to make sure my point, I solidify my point, just to make sure you value my point, just to make sure you say, you know that I'm the right person to talk about this topic, right? By the way, I'm a my family are immigrant, but I agree with what Sir Jim Ratcliffe is saying. Hey, coconut, puppet, bootlicker, whatever you want to call it. These are this type of people, right? You don't come on national radio and go, well, I'm an immigrant. That's why I've got to contribute. I've got to see what I've got to say. If I was to call Talk Sport, I'll just go, you know what, Jim was wrong. Absolutely was what he said. It was absolutely bullshit. If it impacts me, then it does impact me. But I'm not gonna go there and try and sell myself as an immigrant. The fact that you have to justify for Jim Ratcliffe, the fact that you have to explain it to educated people, people that know what A to B or how to get from A to B is, you said you're from an immigrant background, but you have to explain what Jim Ratcliffe meant for Jim Ratcliffe, right? He wasn't talking about immigrant that are working, that are contributing. Jim Ratcliffe is a smart guy. He didn't become a billionaire by saying like just doing dumb stuff. The fact that you sat in your whatever and you have to come on national radio and go trying to justify it, trying to summarize what, trying to give us a summary of what Jim Ratcliffe said, the awful things he said there, tells me everything that you need to know about people like, what's his name, Dave? Um, but yeah, Jim Ratcliffe deeming the footballers that he hired that are contributing, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what he meant. He meant immigration in general. Jim knows exactly what he was doing. He's complaining about, he's defending Jim for taking his billions to Monaco and spending it to a foreign government. a foreign state, a foreign country, because Jim does not want to pay towards the NHS or all other services that the football fan base, the football club he owns, can benefit from. Jim Ratcliffe took escape from the UK and saved £4 billion, and he gave that 4 billion or half of it to Monaco. Brother, make that make sense. So is this guy that's on the phone now? He's talking about he's happy that Jim has gone to Monaco because he doesn't want to pay taxes in the UK like we all do, but he's happy for him to pay taxes or contribute towards Monaco, foreign country. These people, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this stuff up. If you're happy for Jim to go pay, escape with the 17 billion and pay 4 billion towards whatever Monaco, Saudi, whatever it is, bro, how is that making sense? So he's saying you'd rather pay a foreign country than pay towards your country and fight for whatever you need to fight for at the same time. Doesn't even make sense, man. Ian sound like he's mixed with Southeast Asian, right? It didn't mention where his parents come from, but I can tell you now, if you worked with all type of demographics, I think there's certain people from Southeast Asian community, bro. They can be the most coconut you'll ever see. They literally think they are white, or they want to be accepted. They will say anything in front of a white person just to get a few clicks or a few claps. And I've experienced that with certain jobs I've done in the past where they didn't know I was there, and this South Asian guy, which I think he was Pakistani or something like that, but he was born here. That guy was sat in man them talking about all type of racist shit. Then I challenged them in front of them, and one of them left the business, resigned the following day because he knew what they've done was wrong. And this other guy challenged him, and what he said is just it's absolutely outrageous. And then he went on a long term sick, and he did all that just so he can be accepted by the people he was working with, the white people that were surrounding him. And I'll tell you what, some of those business condone these people, they just let it slide. Um, but Ian, the last caller, they sound like someone that that's that type of person. Absolute coconut, absolute. Um, it can be a banana as well if you want to refer them to that. But yeah, that's what they are. Like, bro, they're never gonna accept you fully. Yeah, they will laugh with you, but some of the comments you're making, they're also referring to you. You're also describing who is where you come from. But anyway, Hamza, I'll leave it at that. Hamza, I think it was a brilliant colour as well, and he goes to Old Trafford. He's got season ticket. His whole family are United fans, and he spent a lot of money. Anyway, let's just play. As long as the opinion suits the fucking narrative, Simon. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. He didn't say that. So these people trying to clarify whatever he said. Jim should be doing all this talking, right? Simon is compromised. I'll tell you again. Come the election, Simon will be voting reform. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Listen to what Jim trying to check him, fact check him. He didn't say that. Jim didn't say that. And here is Jim Ratcliffe apologizing today, or put out a statement. Hi, mate.
Yeah, what you doing?
Hmm?
Daddy,
Okay.
Daddy,
Yeah.
can we watch? Because Chelsea, Daddy,
Hmm?
are you watching Chelsea play?
Chelsea. No, I don't think Chelsea are playing today.
It's on the TV. I literally saw it.
You saw it.
Yeah.
Let me check it. That was yesterday.
Yeah, but I still saw it. It's still on there.
Arsenal are playing tonight. 8 o'clock.
What's who's playing against Arsenal? Who's playing against Arsenal?
Brentford. Come here.
Then who do you want to win?
Come here. Come here. Come here. What's up?
Daddy, I found my other cards.
You have a
Daddy,
phone?
we found the other cards. Daddy, I found my other cards. Daddy, I found my other
Yeah, I
cards.
put them there for you.
Oh, I forgot.
Sorry.
I
What?
forgot.
There. You have the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to look at them. Daddy, I want to look most at my favorite
Can we
ones.
give Ari one card, please?
I was just going to look at my favorite ones. Which ones are my favorite?
Can give her Endo. I have this one.
This one's my
No,
favorite.
it's not.
What? She's taking two cards. Teddy! Abdullah! I just want to look at the most favorite ones. Daddy, out of this guy's my favorite. He has to flip the other way. Daddy, these were all of my cards. Daddy, I have almost all of them. Daddy, these are all of my favorite cards.
Yeah, be careful you don't.
From earlier. Daddy, we have been there.
Yeah.
That's the background.
Yeah.
I already know the background. Okay. Juventus. What is this? Hello, sis. I was trying to talk. Daddy, I got very good Real Madrid ones. Daddy, this is the very good Real Madrid one. Ariel, get off. I'm trying to do my cards. Ariel, let's look at this. Ariel, don't put. Ariel, you're missing it. Oh, she's putting every single one on. Ow, I just need a, Daddy, just put them in the order.
Come. Put them in order.
Do they have to go in each one? Like, each one. Here. Because look how much cards I can't even count how much cards there are. Then we have almost 1 billion cards. Daddy, I don't know how much these. Yeah? Daddy, do my phonics. Daddy, do my phonics now. Daddy, do my phonics. I couldn't even count how much I have.
Oh yeah.
I can't even count how much cards there are. We have so much Real Madrid ones. That I only want the Real Madrid ones. And that I
Well,
only...
let's tidy up. Look, they're all on the floor. We'll pick them up.
Wait, why are my Pokemon cards on the floor? Daddy, look what else is on the floor. My Pokemon cards.
Pick the rest up. Pick the rest up for me, please.
What are my Pokemon
Sarah's
doing?
just making a mess.
It's because of her. I wasn't the one who made a mess. Aria was. Oi. Look how much cards. What's the holding?
Put them together.
Do they all have to go together? My Pokemon cards are because those are
Which was a lie.
Which was what a lie?
What Jim Ratcliffe is saying is lying about everything. They have more cards behind you.
Those are my Pokemon cards. Here. 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 Oh, two more. Oh. Yes, sir. Here. Here. I got my United card. Dad, I got my United. See. See. Then you just see about card.
Jim was just wrong with everything. So I just hope the players don't feel too.
Daddy, who's playing today?
Arsenal are playing today.